my channel. It's Andrea, and today I have my 6th update for Pan Those Eyeshadows. You'd think by this point, like, I would look and see what update it is before I sit down and film, but if you haven't figured it out by now, I am woefully underprepared most of the time. So with that being said, this project was started, of course, by Alexi. I'll have her channel linked down below. I don't think she's doing it this year, but so many people have started doing this project that it's really amazing to see. But with that being said, I'll get into the update because it's an exciting one. We're going to be rolling in some new shadows, and I have 2 bonus pans, which I will show you those first, and then we'll get into the 6 shades. The first, oh my gosh, this is a strong magnet. The first bonus pan is this little single from the Balm. The shade name, I'm gonna butcher this, Kuakarabisha, is that right? The shade name is Kuakarabisha. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This was like a, I don't know if you can see, oh, can you see? There we go. This was like a little mini that I got in an Ipsy bag. So I was using that as an inner corner highlight, and I hit pan, which was not hard because it is so tiny. But then the other bonus shade, if you watched my roulette pan collab update, you'll know what it is, but it is this shade Charmed, I'm sure, for my Sweet Peach palette. I've been using that every day as an eyebrow powder, so I finally hit pan in that after using it for like 3 months because Too Faced shadows are insanely pressed. And then we'll get into my actual shades in this project. I'll do my palettes first and then the singles. That's how I usually do it. So the first shade is from my Lorac Mega Pro 2. It was the shade Forest. And if you can see, I did manage to hit pan on this shade. I'll give you a little swatcheroo. It's a very dark, like, forest green, but it's got some gray in there. I pretty much exclusively used this as an outer corner color. I used it a total of 30 times to hit pan. I used it 15 times this month, 15 times last month in order to hit pan on it. So next is the shade Smog from my Urban Decay Born to Run. I don't know if you'll be able to see, there's a little dip going in there, but I haven't really been focusing on this shade, so even though it's been in for 2 months, I'm still gonna keep it in. I'm not gonna roll it out, especially since I hit pan on that forest shade. I figure as long as I hit pan in something, even if I've already had one in for a while, I'm gonna keep it in unless I'm really not liking it. And I am liking it more. Like, it's kind of hard to see because it's not super dark, but I do have it kind of as a crease and outer corner color on today. And if I really work at it, I think I could hit pan by next month. I think. We'll see. Then my last shade from a palette is from my Emily Edit the Wants. It's this shade Cupcake. Oops. Let's see. It's got a bit of a dip going there. I have already hit pan in the shade The Cream at the beginning of the year. So especially since this is a like shimmer shade, I don't think it will take as long. I think if I focus on this shade and this shade for next month, I think I can hit pan in both of them. I'm pretty sure I can hit pan in this one at least because I haven't used it very often. I've used it 11 times and I feel like it's got a pretty decent dip in it. So I think I can hit it for next month. We'll see. Oh my gosh, I started swatching and then I stopped. So I'm gonna swatch on my other hand for the shades that we're keeping in this time. So there's Smog. And there's Cupcake. It's a very light shade. Like, I don't know, I feel like in the pan, it looks a little bit darker than what it actually comes out in a swatch, but it's still very pretty. Now the single shadows, I have 3. The one that I hit pan on, which is the one that kind of shocked me the most, was I hit pan on this Super Shock from ColourPop in the shade Ibiza. I think the reason I was able to hit pan on this is because it's pretty old and dry, so when I would use my brush to pick this up, and I would need to kind of pick up a lot, because I'm not one to really like dig in. So, but even though, and this is a pearlized formula, so it's not super glittery. So even though it's kind of dry, like it still performed fine. It still had a lot of color payoff, so. Oh, where's my last one? So the last 2 singles that are going to be staying in, I'm just gonna try to take these out of this. First is Say I Do from ColourPop. I don't, like, this has been in, focus. This has been in the project for 3 months. I have used it a total of, I've used this a total of 50 times. And it, I mean, you're not even gonna be able to see on camera. It barely looks touched. Now, that being said, since I did hit pan in this Super Shock, I'm going to keep it in because I am enjoying it as my like transition shade, especially in conjunction with the next shade that I got, or my last shade, which is Moonlight. Ignore the little fingernail scratch in there, but this was pretty much brand new when I put it in the project. You might be able to see there's a little bit of use, but not a ton. Let's Say I Do. I'm trying to get a good swatch of it there. It's a pretty light shade, so. Moonlight, I'm actually enjoying this one a lot more than I thought I would. It's what I've got on my lower lash line today. But see, Say I Do is very light, so, and then Moonlight. So that means that my hands are dirty. So that means that we're going to be picking 1 new shade from a palette and 1 new shade from my singles. I did get some new eyeshadows. I got the Oma Beauty Allure palette, and then I bought a couple singles from Colored Rain, so my numbers have gone up a little bit. But I have my Post-it and my pen for once. I'm gonna start, well, I mean, I'm doing this on my computer, you're not gonna see it anyway, but I'm going to start with 2 because that's where my shadows start on my spreadsheet, and 434 for my palettes. And I got number 225. And then from my single shadows, I have 2 through 197. And I am going to get number 128. So I am going, well, let me double check just to make sure I don't. Okay. I am going to figure out what those shades are, and I will be right back to show you. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so the first shade for my palettes was shade 225, which comes from my BH Cosmetics Aurora Light palette, and it is the shade Fluorescent. this hot pink. So there's a swatch of that. And somebody is playing me. Like, I don't know whose idea, like, this is somebody's idea of a joke, because if you'll remember, I was constantly choosing cream shades. Well, apparently now I'm constantly going to be choosing like blue shimmery shades. This is the shade Endless Sea by L'Oreal. It's like slightly more green than this Ibiza shade. It's like the same color. But besides, I mean, not besides. I mean, I can definitely work with this color palette, especially like all the pinks together and the pinks and the blues. I mean, everything, I think it's fairly cohesive. I can make pretty much anything work with anything else. So I'm not unhappy about it. It's just my luck, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this, but this is my new color story, and we'll see how much progress I can make. Like, I'm not committing to anything, but I am going to try my best to actually hit pan on Smog and Cupcake for next month, because I think that's totally doable. As far as the two mattes, there's no way that I'm going to hit pan on those. This is a baked shadow. I've already actually had a shade from this palette in here before. I had this shade Glowing, which, as you can see, I did not hit pan on. I rolled it out after 2 months because it's a baked shadow. It's going to take forever. This Endless Sea one, depending on how often I use it, I could probably hit pan on this in 2 months, but again, it depends on how often I want to wear blue eyeshadow, which, I mean, I am wearing like green today, so I'll probably wear it quite a lot, actually. It's a very pretty color. But anyway, that is my update for this month. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're staying sane and healthy, and, well, sane and healthy. I hope you're staying safe and healthy and sane, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.